Hello and welcome to the Feedback Show. I'm Stephen Bradley.
And I'm Colin Bradley.
We're going pre-recorded again this week, folks. I think it's a slightly easier setup. We don't have to rely too much on the internet connection breaking up. So we're recording this on Tuesday and it will go up as you're listening, watching it on Wednesday. Just
Right.
to let everyone know. So I think we might drop the idea of live broadcasting. It's a little bit too nerve-wracking for me. Just never know.
It is, and it doesn't really make any difference. We're recording it live. It's not as though we're going to do a load of, you're going to do a load of editing. So in effect, it's the same difference, isn't it?
Exactly.
And it's more convenient, Steve, isn't it?
Precisely. How's it going, Dad? You were just saying you've got lots of pictures planned.
I have, yes. I'm really enjoying myself at the moment, as I'm sure everybody can hear from all the video comments I make. I really am enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm just working on a picture now, which I've got to tell you, Steve, is very challenging. You don't know about it yet, but it's really challenging. I'm almost breaking out in a sweat.
Wow.
And that takes it. No, it's something I haven't really done before. It's an animal, and I've had to change some of the details. And what I'll do when people see it, they will see the picture that I'm doing. It's one of Sophie's again. You know, Sophie Gates, our wildlife photographer friend, who allows us to do these, which is great. And she's got a whole bundle that we can choose from. But I've had to change it because, I won't say too much about it, otherwise I might give it away. But I'm having to change it quite dramatically. But so all I can actually do when I supply you with a photograph of this is the actual Sophie's picture. But when people see it, they'll say, hang on, it's not on that. And it's got that, and what's this? So, although they'll be able to see what I'm taking it from, they won't see the little bits and pieces which I've had to find and conjure up from other areas.
It's a good example, then, isn't it, of how much you can change a picture with artistic license? It's like seeing the before and after.
That's right. Well, I'm sure people, when they've looked at Lola that went up this week, they would have seen that and think, well, hang on, where's the chair in the background? And where's the carpet? And where's the window frame that was there? And so it just shows you, and it gives them a really good idea, all our members, of how you can actually change something to the better.
Yeah.
I mean, Lola looks gorgeous, and I was ever so pleased with that.
Absolutely.
So it's good fun, though.
Brilliant. That sounds good and very cryptic. I will have to find out what that subject is you're talking about.
I'll show you. Well, I'm seeing you later today, so when you come down, and I'll show it to you.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So this week's feedback show. Let's get started with Betty's Jack Russell. Betty says, the reference was so beautiful. This is my second effort at coloured pencils. Unlikely as it may sound, the neck shading was probably my most problem error. My pencils didn't give me the same strokes on the side as Colin's did in the video, but my pencils were not sharpened by hand. And does that make a difference? After completion, is there some sort of sealing process that should happen? Love the lesson.
Right. Well, let's deal first of all with the problem that she would have in the neck. I do understand that. What you've got to be careful of in anything like this is you work in the fur direction or the hair direction in case of a dog. If you look at it, the hair direction's slightly out. Now, you probably wouldn't pick that up, and I don't suppose anybody else will. But as I point it out to you, you'll see that it doesn't look as though the dog's head is turning, where on mine, it's turning. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's because of the strokes that I make and the direction that I create the fur in. So I don't, whatever you do, alter what you've done, because it's great. You've made a great job of it. And we're being critical, and I'm being picky because it would help you. I wouldn't say it otherwise. So that's the first thing. Watch that. when you do it. But otherwise, no, it's brilliant and well done. As far as for the pencils sharpened by hand, well, I do sharpen my pencils by hand because I prefer to do it, but that's my preference. But it doesn't really make a difference, no, not that much. I don't think. It certainly wouldn't. I could do the picture with all manufactured pencils straight from the pack and still produce the same image that I have. So it wouldn't make any difference. As far as fixing or sealing is concerned, years ago I used to use a product called Perfix, which is made by Darnell. I don't even know whether you can get it now. I haven't seen it. Well, I don't use fixative anymore, so I don't go into shops to look for it. But that's what I used to use. The problem with it is it would dull that down. If you sprayed that your animal and then looked at it once the fixing was done, you'd be very disappointed with the result, because all the background there would be dull. It would be lifeless. It would look pitted, and so would all the white fur that you've got there, or the hair you've got there. That would work, and you'd be so disappointed. However, you could get out of it by just redoing the area, but that's always a sad thing to do if you've done something and then having to redo it again. In other words, put more pastel on. But if you did that, you'd be in the same situation. What do you do? Fix it again? No, because you have the same problem. So you see why I don't fix pictures. Yeah. There's no need to, Steve. In this situation, gosh, I've been using it now. I've been using the unfixed pastel work for 25 years or more, and I don't have any problems with anybody smudging the picture. I don't have a problem, as you know, and framers shouldn't. Any framer worth his salts would suggest to you that you put it in a double mount so it pushes it away from the glass. That's one of the important things. And put it in a frame and it will stay there. I've got pictures now that I did 30 years ago and they still look as fresh as ever, and behind glass. So why would you want to spoil something you've done?
Good point. Well done, Betty. Great job. So, a few from Gabrielle this week. The first one is a German Shepherd, and she said, I thought it'd be interesting to show the members and everyone else how much you can improve by following Colin's advice, watching his videos and practicing on a regular basis with the pastel pencils. This is my second ever German Shepherd I've completed. The first one was from Colin's tutorial, which was approximately 3 years ago. On the new one, I couldn't get the daylight colours as bright as on the picture and struggled a bit. The shadow was also very difficult to work with. Look forward to hearing what you think. Well, there's a bit of an improvement there, isn't there?
Oh, yes. Well, you can see, I said last week that Gabrielle should stick to animals because that's what she's good at. And the only thing Gabrielle's picked up is the brightness of the picture. If that was, I imagine that was scanned in. And if it's true to the original, which sometimes I suspect that they're not, you've lost something in the brightness. That's usually a case of too much base color mixing with the tonal colors put on top. In other words, imagine that light area just above the right eye, okay? And then look at the animal photograph. You'll see that it's very ochre, where your picture has gone a little dull. And that's probably because of the undercolor. Had you used ivory, which I would have used in there, rather than grey, and then put your ochres on, you'd end up the same colour as the photograph. So it's just a point that you've brought it up, so I'll elaborate on that. Another problem you mentioned is the shadows, and it's an awful problem we have with anything that is taken in direct sunlight. It's a great angle. The angle's good, but unfortunately, it creates a very severe shadow, which is what you've got. And of course, you've emulated that. very hard to get out of it. But there is a way out of that. What I would do, if you look at your shadow and the shadow of the animal, you can just about make out the jawline and the edge of the snout. Now, what I would have done in a situation like that is made that a little bit more prominent. In other words, made it more colourful. You can do that even though you've got the dark colour on it. You could still actually put those colours back in. If you go to Lola, if you look at Lola, you see I've done similar things to that, and I've put the colours back in and on top of dark, and you can do that. So I would suggest what you do is look at the dark fur of Lola. Look at it in its entirety, not on the one on YouTube, because that, although that's very good and it shows it's a very short clip, but you need to look at the whole of the dark fur that I've used in Lola and how I achieved the lighter colours on top. And that would have improved that a little bit and made it just a little less severe. But otherwise, very good. I mean, I can see where you're coming from. Your backgrounds are coming along, aren't they? Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, it really brings the subject forward as well, I feel like. So it's all about. But look at that difference. Only the second German Shepherd, the first one on the left and 3 years ago, and the next one on the right. It's just fantastic. The experience is really starting to show.
Absolutely. Well done.
Okay. Next few from Jenny. Jenny says, "Hi, Stephen and Colin. Just sending over some of my recent commissions. It was great to hear that Gabrielle from your last feedback is getting some commissions through her market stall. I too have had many commissions requesting portraits for Christmas gifts, and I've done all my advertising through my Facebook page. I have even been asked to draw a gala. I don't know what that is.
No, I haven't. But it's a budgie, seemingly.
Well,
no, a gala and a budgie.
And a bearded dragon.
Oh, my goodness me.
Mostly dogs, however.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. As always, I would appreciate your feedback and any advice you can offer. So I've put them all in here so that we can see them all, some of her work.
Right, okay. Well, once again, well done. As with Gabrielle, if you can produce pictures like that, well, and people are obviously clambering for them, and no surprise either. I think that's great. Well done. A couple of little points I would make if I was doing this picture of the cat's not bad at all. That's very good. I'd make the background a little bit more prominent. This is probably a photograph of the cat as opposed to a scan picture.
I think so. Yeah.
Which means you've lost some of the colour that you probably did put in the background, but it does need to be a little stronger. It would not too dark, but a little bit more punchy. That's a little bit too bland. I mean, the rabbit's better. Look at the colour you have on that rabbit. It's quite nice. You've got light on one side, dark on the other. That's what I would do. It's more interesting to do that. And I love the rabbit. I think it's lovely. So I suspect a little bit that I'm going to put it to you that are you using any square drawings? If you're not, and you're using your eye, be careful. The problem you have if you're just using your eye is that you can get proportions slightly wrong. Now, it's not that obvious in this case, but I can see the dog's eye doesn't quite fit as it should. If you look at the top of the eye, where you have the top of the eye, we have the white at the top of the eye, and then you have the top of the head. The distance between those two is shorter than the distance on the actual dog. Are you with me?
Yeah, it's a subtle thing you can see when you look at the picture.
That's right. You don't necessarily see that. And the other thing is just to the left of that eye, you've got the other. You can't see the other eye, but you've obviously got the eye socket and the area around it, and you can see that cuts too tight. It's too much of a right angle, whereas there's more of a slope that leads down to the nose. Now, these are all small things, and you might think I'm being very picky about it, but if you're doing commission work for people may pick you up on something like that. And so I would really suggest, if you're using your eye, then start thinking about maybe just doing even if you just use square drawing to get the overall shape, you can then fill it in, which is what I do. I do the overall shape, so I got it right, and then I fill it in from that and use my own artistic license. The shape of the ear, again, you see, is just slightly out. So it's just a thought. You're putting these up, and you want my opinion, and I'm giving them to you.
Well, I think it's a good value to everyone, and Jenny, that we hear your advice. And your expertise. It's reason why we're doing it. Excellent. Well done, Jenny. This one, it's Jenny again, but this one is a picture that she's got to do that's coming up, and it's causing her a bit of grief, as there's long wavy hair with many tones. Gorgeous picture.
It's
it's
a beauty,
absolutely
isn't it?
Beautiful picture.
It is.
So yes, she's finding it tricky. So I just thought we could include it, see if there's any advice for those long wavy ears.
Yes. Well, we've got quite a few examples of fur like that, ears like that. So you can look at those on the member site. Basically, the idea is you work the lights first. If you look at the left ear, which is the worst one or the best one, whichever way you're looking at it, if you look at that left ear, you'll see lots of lights, and almost if you squint, you can see the lights very clearly.
Oh yeah.
See what I mean?
Everyone's squinting now.
I'm sure. All right, right up and down, all over the world, we've got people squinting at it. Well, by doing that, you actually see the lights better. Now, when you see those lights, put them in. As you see them, put them in. Then the next thing you do is the next tone down, which is the mid-tone, right? So we're looking at 3 tones here: lights, the mid-tone, and the darks. The darks will be the last thing you put in. And if you build up your ear like that, you'll find that you don't lose the lights. If you try to put the lights on afterwards, it won't work. So you've got to put the lights in first. You've got to work from light to dark on this. Once you've put the lights in and you've established all the lights, and then you establish the medium tones, and you'll have to find the colours suitable for that, then you can then put the darks in it. But if you look at it, there's not that many dark colours there. So this is where you could fall down if you put too many darks in. Do you see what I mean? Can you understand that, Steve? I mean, you're not an artist, so you can look at that objectively, like I am. You're looking at it as light, medium, and dark. Now, there's obviously lots of mid-tones.
Yeah, you've got
lots of tones that goes, but that's the basic idea. That's how I do all my pictures. I work in the 3 tones to start with. And then I work all the other tones that go with it.
I think what really makes this ear on the left is this shadow, I think, because as well, doesn't it? Because then that gives it context of kind of is an entity. So I think as long as you've got that shadow in, then you know adding not too many darks. And what about the background as well? Because this is how light that is going against the light background. You can...
Well, Steve, you could use that if Jenny wanted to. She could use that background. Forget that edge of that wall and skirting board. Forget that. Just imagine it wasn't there, but that dark colour continued right across the picture. That wouldn't be too bad at all. You could use that because you're almost certain to use grey in the picture. I mean, the nose is grey anyway. And what you could do, that nose would probably be white with I would use the 230 and the 233 for this because it's like a slightly mauvey. And when you put the pink on that, it will turn into that colour. Now, that pink can be added to the background on top of the colours that are already there. It just gives you an idea. And is that it, or do you want to know any more?
I think. Well, I think that's pretty good. I think the black and white spaniel came to mind as a good picture to look at. The wavy ears. I mean, is that a spaniel? I think that is. Like a spaniel.
It is a spaniel. Yes. Yeah. Well done. I look forward to seeing that one when it's finished.
So this next one comes from June. This is the dance at the Bougival. Hi, Stephen. Thanks so much. I really enjoyed doing this one. The only problem I found was the colour from the man's clothes kept escaping into the lady's pink colour. Even though I tried to protect it with a paper sheet, I had to redo some of her dresses. It got so dirty looking. I loved it though. Thank you again, June. I bet that's difficult, isn't it? The way that dress is overlapping the trousers.
Oh, absolutely, because I do the dress first and then the trousers. You couldn't do it the other way around, that's for sure, because what would happen is the paper would be affected by the blue, and then eventually putting those pinks on would be a nightmare. Yeah. But no, I've never had a problem like that, so I sympathize with you for it. The only suggestion I can make is when you're working on something like this, you blow the dust away from the pink dress. It's so easy to go straight on. Imagine putting a whole load of blue and dark 181 and then black on and just blowing, because what would happen is that would just go everywhere, including all over the lady's dress. So what I do, when I blow the dust, I blow it away. On the other side, it can go in the trees, and so it doesn't matter about them, but it does when you've got something like a pink dress like that. So I do sympathise with you, but I can't help you any more than that. That's what I would do. You've done very well. Can I throw a cautionary note here?
Yeah.
Now, the picture from Renoir was more or less as you saw mine, or you see mine. I know I've added bits. I've added the table in there which wasn't there, and I've got rid of a couple of people that were on the other side of that tree. I've done that. Well, that's not bad. That's easy. That was easy for me. But when the poor lady there is almost sitting on a stool instead of a chair.
Oh, I see
what I mean? And because you've had to make it up, because I didn't put it in. And you might ask me, why didn't you do that, Colin? Why didn't you put a chair? Because I couldn't see it. I can't make things up that I can't see. Now, you'd think, oh, you should be able to do. You're an artist. No. Sorry. If I can't see something, and as important as that, I wouldn't make it up. However, you can probably get away with it because you can put it behind some of that behind the mount.
Yeah. So it's certainly, you literally come in a little bit like up to where yours is or something like that.
There is another little problem as well you've got there. You've got a few little characters in the background there. Now, just where the lady's hat, to the left of the lady's hat, you've got a gentleman there with the hat, and very nice. Then you've got nothing between there and the bottom. Now you could say, well, surely it's foggy. You've done it foggy. Yeah, but to make fog there is not right. You'd have to put something there. Now, you see mine, I put something. Now, you can't make it out. You don't know what it is, but it's something. Can you see what I mean?
Where are you looking?
Look at the lady's hat, to the left of the lady's hat. You've got a little gentleman, a little tiny little man in the distance.
This man here?
Yeah, that's him, yeah. Now go drop down. Nothing. Nothing.
Okay.
A fog.
I see.
A fog.
I see.
You could say, well, the fog's come in, but that doesn't get you out of a problem, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So once again, now if you were to trim that down, as I've done, you wouldn't have had a problem there. That's what I said. That's it. See now, you see. Oh no, a little bit less than that, just a touch. That's it. Stop. Okay. Now you see, you haven't really got a problem. All you got to do is put something like I've done. It could be anything at all, just something that fills the hole up.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And now, what a difference does that make to the picture?
Well, like you say, that might be covered by a mount, because it looks like she's gone to the edge anyway of the paper, so...
That's right. Well, you make sure of it. If you get that framed, you make sure you put that to the framer.
Yeah. Because
it looks so much better like that.
Fantastic.
Okay. Good, but brilliant. Well done. You've actually done a Renoir, June. You should be very proud of that.
Fantastic. Excellent. Okay, a couple more. Another one from Gabrielle. Lots of all these commissions you see that she's getting there.
Yeah.
So we're seeing them. Gabrielle said, I was looking for suitable tutorials on Colin's videos, but couldn't find anything. So I was quite gobsmacked when I saw Lola, the beautiful cat that he had just admitted at the same time when I needed some help. There it was. So it's the long fur, really, that she had in this cat. So it's any kind of tips or advice you can give on this one?
Well, this is experience. Experience comes in. With that kind of fur, you have to make it as soft as you can. Do you remember some while ago we had fur, and I said that it resembled as though she got wet. She's just coming from the wet.
Yeah.
And that cat does look as though she's just coming from the rain. The fur has matted together.
Mm.
Now, but if you look at the fur on the animal, it doesn't do that. How do you make that into that? Well, experience. Gabrielle, you've got to work at it. One of the things you could do is to use a blender, and more pastel, which would take some of that matting away.
Well, a little bit more of the lighter colour, a little bit more of the white.
I would suggest you go back to Lola again and have a look at that, because it's there. That what I'm telling you is there in Lola. You've just got to. It's your interpretation. That's the difference. You're interpreting what you see in Lola onto your cat, but really you need to look at it again to see what I'm talking about, and see how I did it, and watch the clip. There's a very good clip of Lola. My goodness, there's a big expanse of fur there. You can't really go wrong, and you will see how I've done it.
Good. Yeah, long fur, and these are hard lessons, aren't they? Like, these are hard subjects with the long fur and the scraggly ears and things like that. They're not easy things to tackle because they're not uniform, are they? This is the thing. It's not like a fixed kind of, it's this way. Fur is,
That's
it's
right.
fur. It's,
That's right.
it can be changed and tweaked, and there's texture to get, and there's lines. You don't want to make it look too rigid or too symmetrical, or, very difficult.
It is. There's a couple of little small points as well, because I'm sure I'm helping Gabrielle with all of this. One of the things I've spotted is the nose itself. Now, you look at the nose on the photograph, and you look at Gabrielle's nose, you think that's brilliant. What a brilliant job she's made of it. And it is, except the angle is slightly out. And I'm talking about very slightly out. It's slightly straight as opposed to angled. Now I pointed it out, you'll see it.
Yeah, slightly on the left side, you mean?
Yeah, look at the eye and draw a line through the eyes. I don't know whether you can do that, can you?
I probably can. Tell you what, whilst we're here.
Hang on, we're giving it a go.
Hang on a second.
Now draw a line.
If this doesn't work, I'll cut it out, yeah?
Yeah, cool. Yes. Now, bring that angle up level with the eyes. No, you're slightly out the angle. That's it. That'll do, Steve. Now, bring that angle down to the nose.
Oh, hold on.
Will it not let you do it? Yes, it will. There we are. Now, you don't need to go any further than that, Steve. Don't cover it up, but people can see now what I'm talking about. You see the angle of the... Look at the angle of the nose compared with the angle of that line. Okay. Now, I don't suppose... Oh, you can. I was going to say you can do it on the other side. Leave that one there and then go back to the eye. Take the other one on the eye. Go on. My God, this is worth its weight in gold, this lesson, isn't it? There you are. Now, isn't that great? Now look at the angle of the nose. Can you see what I mean now?
Yeah.
Now, I saw that, folks, without the line.
Well,
well, clever Colin. No, it's just I'm used to seeing things like that. I'm used to picking them up. You're not, folks, all right? But now I've showed you. That's a really valuable lesson. Well, I'll give up now. I'm going to have a cup of tea now.
Well, no, there's one more.
No, I can't do any more.
Excellent. Last one. Come on, last one from Shirley. Lovely Pomeranian here. Another one of our members doing lots and lots of commissions, or getting lots of commissions, being asked. Shirley's been asked to do commissions, but she's kind of having trouble choosing the right colours. She said, I've done fine with the other two, but this one, I just cannot tell what colours I should be using. She's ready to tell the owner that she's just not able to do it. She's very frustrated.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. That's a lovely picture. That's a beautiful picture. And
just the hair and the fur that she's struggling with.
Absolutely gorgeous. Now, you've got to watch this, because you remember when we go back to Gabrielle, she had a problem with the matting of the fur. Now, you imagine that. If you did that in the same way, you'd have a disaster on your hands. You've got to have that really fine. And this is where the colour shapers are brilliant. They will do that for you. And the colours, white, ivory, pink. Now, the pink I would use there would probably be a 189, folks, all right? Just
Cinnamon.
put that in your mind. 189. It's not quite as pink. It's more peachy than pink. And then if you link that with the 187, a very light touch. You can't put too much in, because that's a very strong colour. Very light 187 and what did I say?
189, yeah.
Yeah. Very light touch, almost a whisper. You almost show the pencil to the fur rather than put it on.
Any creams or anything like that in there?
No. Well, you've got ivory. Ivory would cream it down. If you put the white, the ivory, and those colours in, that will give you the colour. Now, the other colour, which is critical, is grey, and I would use the 230 again. I mentioned it earlier. 230 grey would be the colour I would use, and the darker colours, which you're going to need, would be 233. But you won't need a lot of that.
No.
And those are the colours. I mean, this is just some of the colours. Another colour you could keep by you would be 169. 169 would work on the nose, but with that nose, you've got to put the white on, the grey on, and you've got to put a nice base colour with a little bit of 189 on there, and then you could put just a hint. Again, just show the nose the pencil. Don't apply it, because if you put it on, it's going to ruin it. You need to just very, very lightly touch a little 169, just a smidgen. And when you use your shaper, you can spread that 169, and that will give you the colour of that nose.
Well, there you go. What can you say? Fantastic. That's your advice. That's your lot for this week.
Well, the only thing I wouldn't do, only me. Now, folks, it's only me. I wouldn't do that flower or rose in it.
Yes, a bit tricky that way, and it would.
Well, it's only me. If you want to do it, do it. I mean, it'll be very challenging, but do it. The problem with something like this, that's a sort of like a leopard skin, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, like a leopard print.
Something. What you could do, you could make a fantastic job of the dog. You could be so pleased with that dog, and then do that rose or whatever it is, flower, and ruin it, because it's going to be hard to do.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be very hard just to forget it's there, and just, in a situation like this, it's probably a good idea, if let's say you did want to get rid of that rose, go on the internet and put the animal in, and you'll find there's hundreds. You'll have hundreds of pictures. Find something that sort of resembles the fur, the bottom of the fur and the foot. You will find it. You may have to do a little bit of artistic license, but you will find it. So you could fill that bit in, because you'll have all the colours by then. That's only my advice, folks.
Good advice, though. Good advice. Yeah, I like that.
I envy you, Shirley. I'd love to do that. I might do one day.
Well, yeah, we've had a couple of people do Pomeranians over the years as well.
They're beautiful.
Yeah. There you go, everyone. I think you've been on fire today, Dad, with all that advice. I think
they got their money's worth, haven't they?
They really have. They've learned a lot. I've learned a lot this time. So obviously, if you're new to the show and you're wondering, you've been watching and you thought, how do I get my work on there? Well, all you need to do is sign up for any of our membership plans on colinbradleyart.com, and this service is thrown in. So you can send us your work, whether it's your own work, your own commissions, which is really great that we're getting a lot of those in. It just goes to show what our members are capable of, especially that picture from Gabrielle from 3 years ago. So If you really want to get your techniques honed and the advice personalised to you, then just join any of our membership plans and you get this service. So we'll be back in a couple of weeks with another feedback show.
No, we won't, will we? Oh, well, are you going to do one Christmas week, Steve? God blimey, they're going to get their money's worth.
We'll be working, or I'll be working, so
all right.
We might as well.
So we might as well do it then. All right.
28th, yeah. Between New Year's, we won't have too much for a rest. And we'll be back next week with our podcast, which will be the last one before Christmas. Christmas Eve, is it Christmas?
Yeah. No, not Christmas. Oh, well, yes, it would. No, the day before. It will go out on the Friday, won't it? Which is, I think, the 23rd.
Yeah.
Well, it's near enough.
Christmas Eve, we'll do a podcast. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, everyone, for listening and watching. If you enjoyed the episode, give us a thumbs up on that YouTube video. And if you really enjoyed it, then let us know in the comments as well what you've learned. Okay, that's it. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Were you going to say something else?
Yeah, I was going to say we ought to congratulate you for your graphics there.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm bowing to my computer. Thank you very much.
I think you should do, because that was really good. I'm going to make you do more of them now.
Oh, brilliant. Great. That's fine. No problem. Okay, thanks for tuning in. I'm Stephen Bradley.
And I'm Colin Bradley.
Bye for now.